Okay, everybody, we're gonna go and take a look and see if we can recruit some new party members real quick. Anna Zersky, I don't recall anything about this character offhand. Doesn't like guns, but is good with a weapon with a blade. That's a little... These are getting slightly more difficult to, as we go here. I think there's even more still available to us at this point. Oh, look at this guy. This is absolutely a Gundam guy. I can't place very specifically, but he's got a strong accent, huh? And he's good for fighting machines. Now hold on a second. Yeah, I was gonna say his name starts as Kane. I said yes, your name is good, but because of how they ordered the dialogue, that's a little bit goofy. Thank you for screwing with me like that, game. Now there's one more left, right? Her name is Sheer Gold. That is not her Japanese name, I know that. Look at her bright green. I mean, I guess Josh Kane also, but very few of the characters have the same name in English as Japanese, so. And steal for fun. Yeah? So, Sheer is a pretty interesting character that ultimately becomes a little bit awkward, but we do want to actually end up raising her for a little bit. And I hate to say it, we're going to reach a point where Hugh becomes not very useful. He's going to drop off after a period. So, in order to get this going, we're actually going to pick up... Do I want to pick up Rudo? I think if I just go fight in, like, the Biomonster Lab for a little bit, I'll be okay. And we're going to raise Sheer a little bit as well. So, yeah, we got a party of 4 for the time being. It's a little different from what we saw before, but there's a good reason for that, I swear. And whilst I do this, I'm going to go and pull up that guide again, and we're going to go and start off by warping back to that new town that we found at the end of last time, which was called Piazza, right? And see what we've got gear-wise in the shops here. Oh, right, I think we looked at all this, and we've got quite a lot of stuff in here. If we can start gearing Sheer up, that would be a good start. No, you can't use those. Can anyone in our party use the long boots? Rudo? No. Rolf? Surely not Nay. Yeah, so I guess nobody in our party is able to use those long boots. Is that where we're at? Are we simply, like, not allowed to for a while in general, or what? Regardless, we're gonna go in here, and... Right, Rudo probably needs better equipment, so... Can you use the laser cannon? Yes, at great expense to you, but that's okay. That's just how it be sometimes. So we can come in here, and I can press the wrong button and have to close the shop and reopen it. I think I was just expecting to have to mash through more dialogue, because that's just usually what I expect out of most games. And we can sell most of our... We can sell a couple of ceramic knives, rather, get some money back. That'll be it for now. I think most of the gear that Rudo would want is all the titanium-based stuff that we would have to get down at Zima. And possibly Kueri, but I don't think Kueri. I think this is just all at Zima. I could be wrong. There's our titanium helmet. Are we allowed to equip that on Rudo? No. The titanium headgear then should probably be acceptable, right? Oh yeah, you can't walk under those signs, which is a little strange, but maybe they're just not that high up. Alright, and you want titanium armor, which is at the other place. Well, that's fine. I suppose I can probably just walk there. Which isn't necessarily the safest course of action for any of this, but hey. It will have to do. And meanwhile, Sheer is, of course, starting off with, like, actual kind of garbage gear here. We'll just have to watch her very carefully, I suppose. And hey, there's our ship over there. Now, the damage on that laser cannon seemed pretty good, but I guess we are also comparing it to the rest of the gang here, so... And they're doing similar damage, but it's across 2 hits. I don't know if the laser cannon has any sort of, like, multi-hit or anything, so... I mean, it would certainly help if it did, but I guess Rudo also has to catch up on levels anyway, so... Perhaps it's okay if he doesn't have as much damage as everyone else, really. At least for a bit. And this is the place, right? Yeah. Okay, and Rudo, you can get titanium armor. Right. Now, as previously discussed, we do have to be a little bit careful with regard to Sheer, because she can steal from shops, and it will happen fairly randomly, but she will then leave the party, and if you want to go and pick her item up... Yeah, see, it just happened. We now have to go back to Passio and go encounter her at Rolf's home. And she will have something from that particular shop. Oh, Jeez, where's the fast travel station in this town? It's not there. This house... What's this place, actually? Inventing a new kind of gum. Mararalies are... Yes, but I don't have any, so... Right, okay, so we have to come back here later in order to be able to get to Climatrol, basically. Oh, here it is. How the hell did I miss this earlier? It was literally right there. Whoops. Alright. Sorry, I went for a walk, and what she doesn't tell you is that she has a heat pipe added to her inventory. That's not the most useful thing, but it's not without value. That, I think, is supposed to be the one that gets you to go to a new city. Oh, right, yeah. We still need to get to getting titanium armor for Rudo. And we need to raise her to probably about level 10 before we can do what we want to do with her. And once again, when we teleport around, our jet ski kind of comes with us, so that's good. That's very helpful. Wow, no encounters for like a minute there. Wow. That was some bizarrely low encounter rate, folks. Oh. Oh. And doing a little bit of window arranging over on this side of things. As ever, this would be much easier on real hardware, but hey, we've been over that before, I think. Ooh, I just saw somebody learn a new technique. Was that? I admit I was not necessarily looking too closely at what the level was. I think Sheer can actually learn some techniques. Yeah, she can learn Ryuka, which is useful. Yeah, apologies. I'm also in the middle of like a phase of juggling a couple of things at the same time here because, yeah, my sleep patterns right now are a little bit goofy, and I'm waking up like an hour or so before I stream, so I gotta get caught up and all that. Hey, good job, Rolf. You gained a level. Meanwhile, everybody else is currently getting kind of beat up, so let's distribute some health real quick. I think I just tried to cast Anti on her. That wouldn't be very useful. Don't press sack, that'd be stupid. State, yeah, Shear's at level 7. Again, once she gets to level 10 or so, we're gonna take her back, and we got some other things to do with her. Excuse me. I think that puts her at level 8? Yes, level 8. Excellent. We're getting there. We are getting there. Oh, that's an enemy design I've yet to see. The head rot. Yeah, it's one of those carrier enemies with a mushroom on top of it. That's interesting. Oh, good job there, Rudo. I'm glad to see that you're holding up your end of the bargain here. That's really bizarre looking. That's a choice, all right. Not a bad one necessarily, but I was not expecting that, I don't think. All right, well, we're getting kind of beat up here, so... Yeah, thankfully it's not that far to the next town over, so we can just walk it. Go in here and heal. Yeah, we'll pay for the expensive heal, I guess. Why not? And you, Rudo, you want titanium armor, don't you? And you go ahead and equip that, and pretty good, pretty good. Now, Rudo, we don't need your fiber coat anymore. Alright, good. Sheer didn't leave. We didn't want her to leave us that time. I guess it was nice of her to demo the way stealing works in this, though, earlier, so hey, won't complain about that so much. Oop, right. It puts us out on that corner. Oops. Once again, I think level 10 is the sweet spot when we can start stealing the thing that we want. So try looking it up in a couple of different sources just to be sure. Yeah, okay, so I did a quick search. I saw a couple of different sources, and they all said level 10 is a good time to do it. So once we get Sheer to level 10, we will go over there and go through the RNG gating that surely will be involved with solving our task. Solving our task. I don't think that's a way that you phrase that in English or any other language, but certainly not English. Was that our level 10? Yes. Okay. So, with that done, we're going to get into one more fight before we head off, I guess. Head off back to our hometown here. Because, as a citizen of the capital city, that puts us with a very nice warp point to Motafia's central tower. Because that's where we're going. We're going to go rob the government, baby. This is a great idea. I think room... if I'm not mistaken. And we have to just, like, enter and leave a couple of times until the RNG happens for us. Again, assuming that this is correct. I guess I could do a quick double check here on my sources and see if it's correct here. All right, yeah. I did another quick check, and it appears that this is the right room. We just have to get lucky. So this is probably going to take a couple of minutes until we actually get it. I apologize. This is almost worse than just showing off grinding footage, but here we go. Just like that. Shut up. They're not that kind of robots. I mean, wait. Maybe they are. I was about to say something about music making robots, and then like some stupid AI bro trying to use Daft Punk as an excuse for like AI music or something because they don't understand that they're not actually robots. But unfortunately, maybe I will have just willed that into existence. I'd be so mad if I saw somebody. I would absolutely lose my shit entirely if I saw that, right? Anyway, yeah, we got to keep going into the TSA room. Maybe there's something else that's preventing me from doing it. Do I need to, like, give her a better weapon so she can have more damage or something? Even though that's not really the case. She's just trying to sneak shit. Everything just seems to say, hey, by the way, it's only level-based, which I don't know if that's necessarily accurate, but I certainly hope it is. That would ease things a little bit. Because I don't know that I intend to use this character. Mostly because I've spent so much time raising everybody else, and there's no, like, extra EXP distribution. Although there are a couple of other characters that I know are of value for sure, so... Listen, I'm just saying letting one of them fall by the wayside. There we go. Now, when we get her back in the party, she should have something for us, I believe. Yes, there it is, the Visiphone. We're going to give that to Rudo. Now, the Visiphone does something very, very, very useful. And for those of you who have never played this, I'm not going to spoil it right off until I go out on the field and I use it. That's right, let's go in here and use our banana phone. It lets us save on the field. Hell yeah. That is fucking-mental, guys. Anything that lets you save without having to be bound to one of, like, 6 fixed save points. Big, big, good stuff. Also very useful, especially in the case of a situation like me where I stream, so now I don't have to walk back to a town every time when I'm done. But with all that done, we're going to go and... you stop that, or don't stop that. I mean, that's... Alright, so... we're going to go ahead and we're going to reorganize by bringing in Rudo. And we're going to bring Anna in so that way we have some more healing, because it's always a good idea to have healers in your party, you know. You've played literally any RPG. You know how important it is to have a little bit more healing than a guy who can do a piddly little 20 HP heal every once in a while. Right? That seems like a thing that I think we can all fairly consider to be pretty useful. Oh, I picked the wrong character. Fuck. I picked Anna, not Amy. God. Oh boy. A lot of A names here. But that's also because I literally did not remember Anna was a character, period. So, yeah, you should all point and laugh at me for a little bit here, because I am a dullard. Anyway, I want to take a quick look at what gear she's got going on here. She's got 2 acid shots. Okay. And her titanium cape, which is very funny to me, by the way. So, Rudo is up to date, I think, because he can't equip any better boots at this particular juncture. Although, do a quick scroll down here. Well, it does look like we can actually start getting some more gear here pretty soon, so let's go teleport out to Piata and see what we can do with everybody in terms of their goodies here. Okay, for a start, we can buy a silver crown for Amy, right? Yes. And later we can get her a ceramic cape, which is actually, like, about as silly of a concept, quite frankly, as a titanium cape, really. Like, just imagine a cape that's just covered in, like, ceramic plating, just, like, rattling as you go, right? Loud, noisy, and kind of awful. Anyway. Equip the silver crown onto her head. Onto her noggin. And take a look at the rest of this. Oh, I can upgrade him to ceramic armor. Go. And there was a recommendation of getting a laser sword for our other guy over there, which I guess we'll probably do that at some point. Not too far down the line? Question mark? I'm good for now. What is he currently carrying for weapons, though? Oh, he's got those 2 laser knives. I think those are a little bit outdated. So... not, like, horribly, but... especially, you sure would like to hope not horribly, because we did that upgrade, like, only a couple hours ago at most. But yeah, stuff in this game tends to come at you pretty quick. We'll say that... ah, shit, I forgot to heal. I should go fix that. Whoops. Oops. That's right. Oops, everybody. Heal ourselves for 45 Meseta a person. God, I'm pretty sure it's cheaper to go to Passio and get it, but then we'd have to teleport back and forth from here, and then it would kind of cancel out the savings. But hey, that's however deep into the game we are for you, right? Hey, there's our jet scooter. So off we go. Getting into fights with big bugs on the water, as you do. Over here is just a random island. All right. Pug kill. Yeah, I don't know what this name is supposed to be here, but it's a choice, all right. Don't do that to pugs. They do not deserve it whatsoever. Yeesh. Okay, so we've landed over here. Just taking a quick look over at my map of Motavia to see where we are in comparison to where we need to be. Oh shit, I keep forgetting to tell Amy that she can actually attack instead of guarding. But of course, if she's getting, like, constantly whooped on by everything here, maybe she should stay on her guard. I don't know. Game's being quite rude about it. But here? Alright, here we go. Yeah, this should lead us to Uzo Island. Yeah, okay, I was expecting there to be more of a set thing here. Post about the US Patent Office directly going after Nintendo for generic BS. I don't know that I specifically saw that post, but of course, there's been a lot of discussion surrounding that because, yeah, a lot of what was going on with that was complete horseshit, to put it mildly. So, good that there's at least a little bit of someone is not asleep at the wheel to try and counteract the amount of bullshit that Nintendo is trying to get away with when it comes to patents and stuff like that. Blockhead, huh? These guys have a little bit of, a little bit more of like a Cthulhu kind of looking vibe to them. And I don't like saying that, but here we are. Ouch! They are doing a good chunk of damage, and especially just focusing up on Rolf. So... hasn't directly initiated a pull into question since 2012. That's pretty intense, actually, then. That's Man, Nintendo, you are fucking around and finding out right now, aren't you? Meanwhile, I'm sure that if you got, like, any amount of nerds and asked them about it, you'd get a surprising amount of people who'd be like, oh, well, that's... You know, they'd be a little too in support of Nintendo in a case like this where they do not deserve it. But maybe that's just me being kind of, like, a little bit nihilistic about some of that stuff. Ah, yes, this gross thing that we saw earlier. Oh, hey, it's cat people. The guy yesterday was saying something about Ney being the first cat girl RPG character, which, I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily go that far, but, you know. Tav, I assume that it's in the sense of, like human kind of... Like, the concept of mankind, not the Mick Foley character, but... Alternately, localizers just retranslating the text and not looking at any of the graphics. Because of some reason. I don't know why they would do that, but here we are. Glow stick. Yeah, that's a choice for an enemy name for when it looks like that. Don't eat them, kids. Yeah, it's a pretty solid choice, all right. God, I think I had something else to say, and I forgot. Fire Drake, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're having a good evening. We're up here on this misty old mountain and about to probably get lost as hell. Don't necessarily love when that happens, but hey, that's video games for you. And here's some more Catmans. As they're all just ganging up on Ney. That's great. I like it when that happens. Except the other part of it. You know, I got a question. Am I allowed to save in a dungeon? Hey, Rudo, ring, 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 banana phone. Yes, we can. All right, good. No need to for now. But, good to know that that's an option for us, so... Yeah, I mean, it's actually quite good to see that, again, that Nintendo's patents are, you know, their BS patents are being counteracted because, well, you probably already know my opinion on it, and that monopolies are bad and they do kind of stifle creativity a little bit, especially when it's based off of something that generic. Like, there is a place where you can say that restriction breeds creativity, and it's not Nintendo saying, by the way, we own the concept of summoning. Which is not literally what it was, but you'd probably get at least some reads of that particular sort of variety. So just because, oh, it's not literally that, how much will that literally change? That's a good question, you know? And she did. Well, fuck. These guys are surprisingly fast. The monsters on this island are some hard bastards. I also truly don't love that it's as far away from anywhere in civilization that it is. So, God, I'm gonna have to probably warp out and then re-enter. Yeah, no, when I say that it's good to have the bullshit patents destroyed, the actual attempted copyright infringement is something that's, like, not great. Let's not pretend that Pocket Pair are necessarily good in this case either. It's a very... well, calling it a complicated situation is not correct, but it's certainly nuanced, which means that on the internet, that's gonna be a complete nightmare for anybody to ever really process. Like, I do not personally like Pocket Pair very much for a variety of reasons, and it is sort of, you know, let's only give them so much credit or anything for the fact that at least they're dealing with the complete shit. Yeah. Exactly. Now I gotta open this in a window, and I'm gonna have to zoom in on this map. Excellent. Because the first one I found was too low res for me to readily understand. Oh boy, this dungeon is kind of some fucked up design. Our goal here is to go to one of these trees at the top of the map, right? There's 7 of them. And out of those 7, only 1 actually has leaves on it. So, yeah. Yeah, Pal World does not have generative AI. As far as we can tell anyway. People have kind of believed that based on Pocket Pair's previous creations. And the fact that the guy was on Twitter, you know, crowing about how good Gen AI had gotten with his, you know, Sugimori-style created Gen AI fake Pokemon, which all, by the way, looked really shit. So I think that that's just kind of funny. Every time you get one of these AI bros who's like, oh yeah, this is doing super well, and then they just show you something that's like, I've cobbled things together, like bad sprite edits that look better than any of those, and I am not good at that sort of thing. And keep in mind that I did that when I was a kid, and I probably would be a little bit better at it now, and certainly I would have more patience for it. But a lot of people would probably point more to stuff like that AI art theft themed game, which I don't know if that involves Gen AI offhand either. To be perfectly honest with you, I just know that it's a thematic element, which is a big, ooh, that's a choice moment. So, what I can say about that is, why would you do that? But that's neither here nor there. I am going to take a moment to try to read this map and see from where I need to go and to where I need to go. I'm gonna have to take like the whole... I'm gonna have to take the whole tour here, but... Oh no, this actually doesn't look as... like it's as many warps as that, but god, this place is designed like... made to be very confusing, so... So yeah, I mean, again, it is kind of related to what Taff was saying. The bar is just that low nowadays that the fact that anyone in this business is doing it, period, has kind of ended up calling a lot of fully legitimate things into question. But also, I do think that there's a certain level of people are very quick to say, oh, is that Gen AI for, like, anything nowadays? Which, you know, not great to just immediately look at a piece of art and be like, oh, yeah, was that generated almost no matter what? It feels sometimes like a bit of a psyop, you know? When you get some people who are just, like, directly just kind of going, oh, hey, is that Gen AI to just any random piece of art? Like, bruh, I think you're doing that specifically to call the piece of art into question and, you know, imply something about other people and or get other folks to come to that conclusion themselves, basically. You know, not necessarily to ascribe negative motives to everybody who's like that, but there's a lot of people out there who consume art only for the purposes of the consumption thereof and not to gain anything from it. So I would absolutely believe a bunch of people who would look at something and just kind of act like that for any piece of artwork. And I need a second to try to figure out where the shit I am here. I saw it where I was before. Okay. I figured it out now. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to say that you should never try to make that call because, like, certain art styles are kind of, like, permanently burn noticed a little bit because of the fact that they get abused by AI artists so much. Of that sort of, like, over-rendered, I guess, style. That's a little bit... And admittedly, I'm not necessarily sure it was a good art style to begin with, but it's what the people want, apparently. So nowadays, like most instances of that, it's just like, gotta think about this first. At least a little bit. But yeah, actually check what you can in terms of information on that first. And don't just sling these accusations around because, hey, artists are in a very vulnerable position and it's not like they were in non-dire straits before. So just trying to be like, hey, are you faking it to literally everybody who does an art? And to actually legitimately create something like that yourself, that takes a lot of skill and talent. So even if it's not my bag, then, you know, still it's something respectable. Assuming you're not literally telling a machine to do it for you, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, we go over the Mariera tree, and there we go. By all means, I'm sure that it's a very, like, technologically complicated thing. It burns the amount of energy it does, and there's got to be a reason for that, right? Like, there shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't be for absolutely zero. That wouldn't make sense anyway. But also, yeah, no justification whatsoever. It's still not great, to put it mildly. Ooh, hey, Rolf got Gires. That's pretty good. Yeah, no, I have run across, over my usage of the internet, a lot of people who are running whole-ass Patreons off of their Gen AI slop. And I think there's sort of a point, right, where it's just like, okay, this is officially hit too far of you are profiteering off of your actual stolen. It's like the thing that I say about software piracy, right? And I do continue to use that term, and some people will be like, oh, well, don't. And I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong for saying that, but I believe that there's a difference between torrenting something off of whatever private tracker versus you make burned discs and you sell them, right? The dude who is, like, putting a pirate copy of whatever video game onto a floppy disk or something back in the 90s and selling it on a street corner, that guy sucks. That conceptual guy can kiss my grits. But someone who is downloading a ROM from website name censored here just in case I get in trouble, I probably shouldn't care, but honestly, you know, unfortunately, you do have to be more careful nowadays. You know, that person, they're fine. You might say something like, oh, well, such and such a company is losing sales. I do not give two shits about a publisher, all right? Because the rule always goes, at least I think the rule always goes, that in most... Okay, so I'm about to say in most cases about the rule always goes like a fucking idiot. But basically, the developers have generally already made their money, right? It's the publishers who are profiteering off of that stuff. Also, I'm just going to teleport off the mountain so that way I don't have to pay for anybody dying. Because otherwise, we might be about to get our dicks kicked in here. But I think that it's very interesting with regard to that the conversation switched so, you know, seems to switch very easily from, well, the developers were all on commission, so they've already made their money, which is what people were saying about, like, Hogwarts Legacy, right? Because obviously that was quite controversial because of the amount of sales that were involved there, which incidentally, I think that very few people actually played that based on Steam statistics compared to the people who were just buying it. So, hey, something outrage tourists. Anywho, basically, the main point that I want to get at here is that
I think it's interesting how the story shifted from that when it was something that people legitimately don't like to every single like, oh, well, we gotta support the company every time somebody is like, by the way, Nintendo products kind of thing. But I mean, that's because there's a lot of people out there who have sort of bought in on Nintendo as a company of like, oh, well, surely they can do no wrong, right? The computer is your friend. To make a reference to the tabletop RPG Paranoia. But, yeah. My actual point, goddamn, I got so fucking sidetracked here that I actually forgot what I was talking about. I apologize. Yeah, it was about software piracy, that's right. That there's a drastic difference between somebody who is a pirate, i.e. distributor, via, you know, like free distribution, versus pirate, i.e. reseller, i.e. profiteering. That actually, I think, is theft. Like, that should certainly constitute such, anywho. There's a difference between that and, like, eBaying something, too. Obviously, I'm not going to be the person who's like, oh, yeah, well, you can't sell games that you legitimately own on you know, on your yard sale or anything like that. Yeah, I am not here to defend publishers. But I am here to say that a guy who's, like, charging you for their bootleg copy of fucking whatever, like, you could be doing so much more with your thing. You should be giving that out for free, not necessarily because I don't think you should profit from it, although, you know, maybe, but more importantly, because, you know, hey, you've already started the one end of it. We get it. You're in this for yourself. But anyway, enough of that horse shit. I'm here to go and pick up some equipment for my team. Hopefully I'll be able to afford half of this bullshit, but I think I'll probably run up a bit of a bill here. And it starts off with this and this. But yeah, also fuck the scammers and the speculators on eBay. That as well. That is something that I can 100% agree with in just a generalized sort of manner. Those guys suck. And not in the fun way. To sort of misquote Leisure Suit Larry, out, unfortunately. Yeah, cartridges are a little bit different from, like, stuff on discs. Anyway, Fire Drake, a disc is a thing that used to exist in the 90s, and sometimes games would come on 4 or even more of them. The world was fucking weird back then. But yeah, I mean, cartridges are in kind of a weird place with regard to that because, well, certainly I would think it would at least be a lot harder to obtain a blank cartridge, so that's like a whole to-do in and of itself. Anyhow, yeah, let's equip Rolf with his laser sword. Oh yeah, his inventory is full. You only get 2 pages of inventory, and that's not a whole lot of space. I know this was sort of the time period, but it also makes me think of the inventory management in some other RPGs that were kind of early on. Like, Dragon Quest had some very severe inventory management at times. Earthbound, of course. Yes, I'll obviously find a way to compare a game to Earthbound. Right, sure. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to, like, Vim's Lair or something having a pass the hat around kind of thing of, like, hey, we do need to keep our servers up. But also, it wouldn't be a smart idea to do that. That's for fucking sure. Don't actually do that, guys. That's a good way to get murdered by the Nintendo Death Squads. Which are kind of like the Coca-Cola Death Squads, but they're from Nintendo. Amy, do you have... No, Amy hasn't had any gear upgrades in a minute, so yeah. Yeah, like, I'll say it. I did actually buy a bootleg copy of Earthbound at one point just because I wanted a copy of it to have around somewhere. I have a legit copy of Mother 2. But... you know, the English version of that, that's significantly more expensive, to put it nicely. So... yeesh. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that my Earthbound bootleg was like, I don't know, $25 or something that I bought on eBay. Which, I mean, considering something that was probably just drop shipped off of like AliExpress, I would assume, because I don't think Temu was quite in the lexicon at that point. If it was even a thing specifically, but I digress. Is this the town I want to be in? Because there's... one of these towns, I think, has a house that we have to go visit, and there's a guy there, but... it might be Zema. And then we do also have to go somewhere else, even, to go visit a guy, but... for the time being... we're looking for the music man real quick. But yeah, again, it's just like, there's... this whole software piracy thing has a lot of nuance to it, and a lot of publishers don't really understand any of it, because they just look at it like, oh, that's a lost sale. Like, no, it's not, actually. Here's the thing, I have downloaded copies of quite a few games that I already own. And not because of broken discs or anything like that. It's just because it's more convenient to play them on an emulator. Okay, so this does not appear to be where the guy that we're looking for is. Where the hell is he then? And in particular, that's another thing with music especially that I do that with, because it is significantly more convenient to sometimes just download a copy of something that I already own than it is to go and rip the CD. Especially as these companies try to hinder CD ripping software. So, like, it's not always a lost sale just because somebody is downloading it. Anyway, let's give this guy that thing. And he gave us some chewing gum. All right. I mean, sure, that is going to end up helping us out in a bit, as bizarre as that sounds, but I'm still trying to find this other guy because I forgot where the hell he was. Obviously, he's not in this town. Just a moment. It's time for me to scroll back up through this document and see if it tells me where I need to go for this dude. Okay, no, it's supposed to be in Opta. I just didn't see him somewhere. West corner, say. Oh, thought I looked up there, but maybe not well enough. Yeah, I guess I just didn't look good enough. Oh yeah, Doug Bowser, right. Yeah, and as we said before, Doug Bowser... You know, Doug Bowser sucked for reasons that were unrelated to the Switch thing, basically. That's... Well, partially unrelated anyway. That guy sucked for reasons that were related to stuff that had to do with, like, the PS3 sort of era. And he was doing shit that was bricking people's consoles, basically, and stuff of that nature. So, you know, fuck that guy for other reasons, but I don't know if that was necessarily Nintendo's jurisdiction. Anyway, this guy's Ustvestia. What a name. Yeah, sure, what do you got? Oh, this will let us... listen to... Here's our sound check. That's interesting. That's not what I came here for. No, do you want to learn to play the piano? Yes. You seem pretty cool. That's a lot of sounds you're getting out of a piano. So... 2,000 Meseta. That's a decent price. Here's an interesting thing about Mr. Ustvestia here. Is that in this English translation, you know, well, all the English translations, he says that the boys look smart if you try to get them to... when you try to choose who will learn the song. If you try to get a girl to learn it, it will cost them 5,000 Meseta instead. But instead, in Japan, what he actually says is not, oh, he looks smart. What he says is, oh, he looks cute. So they turned him from gay into a raving misogynist. He's a Republican in both versions. I mean, yes, because I'm pretty sure that with the exception of, like, Rudo, most of our boys are probably, like, 15 or something, so, you know, he may be gay, but he is still an ephebophile, so, like, we're not gonna call that woke. Anyway. Set all that aside. Now, where the fuck is my jet ski parked? Because guess what, gang? We're gonna go and we're going to make our way onto another dungeon, I believe. And we're doing it on a jet ski, which is the normal way for us to go and confront a climate control laboratory, right? What an extremely 1980s way to do any of this. We just need a little bit of, I don't know, probably cocaine to go with it, but I digress. Anyway. Yeah, there was some map business there, sorry. And I think it's pretty much just like go out here and go east. and get into a fight with a bunch of bugs over and over again. Well, hey, at least they're still pretty easy. Incredible how many of these biomonsters all seem to be, like, arthropods, right? Like, these pug hit guys look like some sort of crustacean of some kind. Some low-budget crustacean. Ah, yes, here we go. Here's this sort of wormhole here. Yeah, that can be kind of a pain in the ass, too, because, well... Oh. The color of water around here are certainly what? Are you okay, game? Alright, so let's use the Mario gum. And that allows us to go underwater, and ooh boy, that is a look in terms of graphics here. Like, I guess having the top layer be animated is kind of neat, but I don't know that this is doing my eyeballs a whole lot of favors, right? Oh, well, listen, I don't know what I was going to follow that up with. Never mind. So don't listen, I think, would be the actual takeaway lesson here. And we're cleaning these guys up. We're taking some damage from these damaged floors. Probably less, probably more than we are from the enemies, though. So less. Oh boy, I wish. Which isn't an advisement for the game to start giving me more painful enemies. That would suck. Yeah, my HP feels pretty good still if we're just going to be encountering Slugmas for now. Ah, yes, here we go. Another one of these fellas, but a different color. This time called Pug Brat. One of these days he'll be back, probably. Do you remember what level Slugma evolves into Mag Cargo at? I mean, wait. Yeah, me neither. Oh. Hey. A bit. Neat. Thank you. So yeah, I think we're not actually going to find a whole lot of items around here, so this is just a fairly straightforward path for a bit. Buttsman's ass, there it is. It's Gutsman! Ah, yes, you can recognize him from that ass anywhere. Good job, Gutsman, for something, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this bit. Oh, our AoE healing is still only SAR. The menu, it's... I was gonna say, you've seen this before. Probably. It's they didn't know how to give anything a decent character limit. So all of our spells have, like, grossly truncated names. Can I add the Gutsman's ass emote to my channel? I mean, the problem is that the Gutsman's ass emote that I'm using is a Frankerface Z one. I'd have to make another emote of that variety and be like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I could just learn to create my own Gutsman's gas or something. I don't know. But hey, what if I actually, like, had more ideas to throw at Tav to try to work more on that VTube design and do something with it? And then we could have her ass sticking out of something. I don't know. It's true, my level of quality is only just enough. Out of a front load dryer. I mean, you're not wrong. Or something. Boy. Now I get to... Now we're in the part of Climatrol that turns into an actual effing maze. Awesome. Oh god, this is so much bigger than I thought it was. Oh, fuck everything. How do I get to this location? Now I get to stare at the entire thing for a moment and be like, ew. This map, God, I'll tell you this for free. This place is looking like a fucking nightmare, dude. I may have to just brute force it because this is actually making my brain, like, take damage. Drain damage. You know. Don't you just hate when you get the brain damage? Ouch. God, things are doing a lot of damage here. I probably should have brought actual healing items, but that wouldn't happen. Why would I do that? Come on. Why would I plan anything like that? That'd be silly. Yes, my suffering is pretty hilarious. It's true. Oh, wait. No, you meant... right. Okay, so... Narez is quite expensive, but... Narez does something very nice in that it is a full heal. So... You want to use that. I think Girez is like 60 HP. It's either 60 or 80. But yeah, you can see we've got a couple of different phases of level here, and yeah. Okay, so if we just go over there, that's just a fucking circle. So no, I think I see the way forward here, finally. Like, admittedly, we're skipping over everything. Rudo has no techniques. He is a completely no magic gunman. He just... His ability is hurt people real good. And sometimes, even that might be a bit of a stretch. But hey. Yeah, more or less. Alright, we'll take that silver ribbon, because why not? I want to take a look at my inventory here real quick. You full up on stuff yet, Rolf? I'm surprised you're not. Left. And here's another Catman. You're a long way from home, buddy. Puts you into all the levels of Sonic Adventure 2. Oh my god. That sounds like... It sounds incredibly goofy, I'll tell you that, for a reasonable price. Like the kind that you can get Filthy Acts for in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Ah, yes, this one is called Cat Eye instead of Catman. Well, there's something about at least they're not possibly effing the gender here, so... Yep. Alright, now, before we go into this central area of Climatrol, we are going to have Rudo call and order us a pizza or something. And by order us a pizza, I mean a save point, apparently. I don't know why I said order a pizza, but you know what? This is significantly cheaper. And folks, you know what that probably means if I'm saving? It means that I've read ahead on this one. We might be in for a bit of a struggle, gang. Yeah, I know. We were just doing that as a bit of conversation bit earlier. Listen, Tav, I know about this game, at least somewhat, so... It's time to go up in here and have things occur. Hey, who's this weird human? She looks just like Nay. I am Nay First. I was born 2 years ago. I am the product of a biosystems experiment combining humans with animals. The people felt the experiment was a failure and thus tried to kill me. Oh, that's unfortunate. But I escaped and stole DNA data from the biosystem. Oh, be careful with that shit. Yeah, I'm not sure why Cat Eye for the palette swap. So, it's, yeah. Big shrug. Anyway. I have created monsters to wreak revenge on the people who so carelessly and selfishly played with life. But there is another Nay within me. A Nay who is trying to stop me. What about outside of you? Oh, the one in our party? Yes, that is the one you call Nay. The one you think is a friend is a monster who despises all people. No, I don't hate humans, said Nay. I separated from Nay First because it was so terrible in her. Of course it is terrible to be born a monster. Nobody likes to face racism. But I couldn't stand by while you tried to get revenge by creating monsters. Fool, you say such things, but you are powerless to stop me. Just try it. Yes, no. I mean, that's a way to I don't want you to make any more monsters. Do you understand? Shit. Well, welcome to our first boss fight, everybody, and we are not gonna have a great time. Yeah, you're not getting out of this one. Just period. If you, like, massively overgrind and use your items very carefully, you can technically beat Nay first in the solo fight. I would suggest not wasting your time doing this, although there is an alternate cutscene if you do. Nay, hold on. There's no hope left for me. Please, Rolf, don't let them ever repeat the mistake they made when they made me. I hope everyone on Algo can find happiness in their new life. After saying this, Nay died. Rolf laid Nay's lifeless body gently on the ground. And now it is time for revenge, and Nay is still in our party. We could technically revive her if we got a Moon Atomizer or whatever the item is. But we did not bother with that because we do not care. So, before I actually start the boss fight and kind of end up in a part where it's like... well, she dies after this anyway, so there's... I will explain that in a moment, so, you know, listen. We are getting to it. Don't you fucking spoilers me. This game is literally older than I am, so... Come on. Anyway, point here is that there's kind of a reason why I'm a big sicko about this game in particular. Even though there's a lot about this game that's a little bit on the, yeah, this is very embryonic because it came out in 1989. But I'm a person who's very much a video game history buff. I am sort of very interested in the idea of gaming as sort of this meta idea of as a storytelling medium and all of these other things, and the idea for it to do something unique. This is pretty high up there, especially for, again, 1989. This, by many years, beat out other infamous character deaths in gaming. This is over 5 years before Chrono got killed by Lavos, and it is even more years before Aerith got killed by Sephiroth. Oh, shut the fuck up. We've played that game before. So it's fair game here. Anyway, I'm being mean. Anyway, so this is like a momentous occasion. This is a thing that you really didn't have happen in games in this period. And obviously, nobody really tried it again in the genre for a long time. And while I'm a fan of it on this sort of concept level, I do understand why it's so rare. Although I think that more games do need to have a few more instances of, like, character deaths that have actual stakes to them, including your party members. Like, you know, I don't want to turn this into a rant about FF14 and how it fell off after Shadowbringers, but at the rate I'm going, it may end up turning into that. But we'll try to avoid that for now. Just to say that I do understand why they don't do this very often in games. And the reason for that is that it is a huge feel-bad moment from a gaming perspective because you have just invested all of that time and energy into this character and it's just gone now. So you gotta use it sparingly, but please at least use it once in a while, guys. I don't know, does Claire Obscure do this? Claire Obscure seems like the kind of game where they would have a playable character get geeked halfway through the game. Unfortunately, I also know absolutely dirt fuck nothing about Clair Obscur. Anyway, the two other points. A, yes, we are almost 8 hours into the game and facing our first actual boss fight just now. You are correct about that, and I do think that there's something very funny about that. So, also, 2, as I said before, technically you can revive Ney mid-battle, and you can defeat Ney first with Ney in your party. That is a thing that you can do. If that happens, Ney re-dies in a cutscene afterward because they have some sort of like spirit link sort of thing going on. I forget the exact way that it's phrased. And I guess the follow-up to that, so maybe this is part 3, or maybe you want to call it 2B or something. I'm sure that everybody in this audience prefers to think of 2B than they prefer 3. Is that I had a brain fart there. Oh, yeah. So you might be wondering, okay, she re-dies after the fight. Why can't you just revive her? And the story does actually kind of have an explanation for this that is a little bit lost in translation. Is that because you earlier blew up the biosystems lab, or you fucked something up in there pretty serious, that makes it impossible for Ney to be revived at a cloning center, because revival in this game is all reclone the body and, you know, I guess you get all the memories back. And listen, cloning doesn't work that way, but it's science fiction handles cloning in a way that's kind of weird anyway, but we're not expecting realism out of this game. We've got fucking space elves here. And so they do actually have a plot point that's right there, especially in the Japanese version, to tell you, hey, this is why this is impossible. And I think that's good. I am grateful for that. It preemptively cuts off all the people who are like, well, couldn't they just use a Phoenix down on Eris kind of shit? Which has always been this kind of fraught thing with regard to the idea of the Phoenix down, because they say that these are supposed to be working only on characters who are knocked out and are unconscious. And that's something that comes up in a lot of the language in a lot of the games. The status will be called KO'd instead of dead, or something else. If you're playing Final Fantasy IV on the SNES from the 90s, it would be like swoon or something like that. And this doesn't really jive very well with the existence of a death spell in Final Fantasy. So it does sort of lead to this little bit of plot hole with Aerith a little bit. But I just like the fact that you could say that they didn't succeed here, but they did try, and I like that. I appreciate that very strongly, that even this early on, it wasn't just like a, hey, fuck you. It's got some problems, but they tried with it. Sega was a pretty good company at one point. They're kind of turning into a pretty good company again, and have been for the last, like, couple of years. I just wish they would bring this franchise back as something other than PSO2, which I have very strong negative feelings about. Say Yakuza again, Chief. Yeah, basically, like I said, Sega is doing real good with that series especially, so yeah, I mean, there are some ways to fix it, but again, when you consider that this game has, like, I don't know, less than 100 words in the script, asterisk, this is a massive exaggeration, they did pretty decently for a game with this comparatively little at the time. Anyway, we're gonna go in here and, God, she is getting so many turns in. Please stop. I need only one turn here. There we go. Now, I'm pretty sure that by the time I actually get a chance to heal, she's going to use her AoE and everybody's going to fucking die. And that's going to be very unfortunate, to put it nicely. Just cast Sar, I guess. And Rolf, you have some damage text, don't you? You've got Nafoy. I think that'll be our strongest damager. All right, so hit it, everybody. And yeah, she's that fast, and she's spamming the shit out of that AoE, so that's a bit of a problem. What are these tech names? They are all, like, very, very fucked, basically. I cannot exactly say what exactly SAR is supposed to be. I think the implication is supposed to be that it's like Sa Resta, because the full name of the restoration spell has been Resta throughout the rest of the franchise. In later games anyway, when they were not beholden to character limits in the same way. But it is Res in this game. I guess that way they can have all the versions that are like prefixed. So in this game, you have the base spell, and then you have like Gi version of the spell, Sa version, or Na version of the spell, pardon me. It's a little jank, basically. It's yeah, I mean, Res at least kind of makes sense as like restore. Anyway, now we get to button mash through this again real quick. Yeah, it's not like the dullards at Nintendo of America who were like, oh, by the way, we've got to call the death spell Rub. Which is what the level 1 death was called in FF1. So, and then they turned kill into XXXX also in FF1 for the NES. There's also, and you may not have caught it, a bit of a translational error in the use of the naming on Rolf's thunder spells, which are also kind of this interesting little oddity. Oh, god damn it. I really do have to reassign the heal spell every turn, don't I? Oh, you ran out of mana. That's why. Ooh. This could get a little bit rough because, yeah, mana recovery is non-existent in this game. A little Rolf. Yeah, listen to you. The way I'm playing here, I probably feel like I look like a fucking Muppet, but, that's a whole other... Actually, you know what? Amy, just shoot her. Fuck! I was banking on the AoE, but we didn't get it, so rest and rip. The thunder spell... There's one thunder spell that's called Su, and then the upgraded version of it is Gi Thu, which is weird and not really correct. Because, well, asterisk. I suppose it could be deemed to be correct in either direction, but the inconsistency, I guess, is what I'm pointing at more. Yeah, so I think that we're going to just have to do a little bit of either some level grinding here or just, like, rank things up. Yeah, bzz would be very funny. On a similar note, just throughout the entire history of the Phantasy Star franchise, the lightning element has had a lot of back and forth between what its naming convention has been. I don't really know why, but it's very odd. Anyway, I think Rolf is missing some HP. Yeah. But yes, if this existed in a time period where there were significantly fewer character limit issues, I think I would appreciate that. I don't mind the idea of a remake, but keep at least the same basic art style, please. And don't make it a 3D thing. Like that wouldn't be a good choice. That would be bad, in fact. Yeah, because my recollection is that the use of the word that's used in Phantasy Star Online and in every game that follows afterwards is Zonde. Zonde. We didn't actually see that when I played PSO because I played as a robot, and because of racism, robots are not allowed to use magic in PSO. They are in later games. But yeah, it's that's usually the light magic is grants in later games, which again, yeah, derives from glance. Which I think there is just sort of like a lot of Germanic derivative in a lot of the spell names in general, if I recall correctly. But I'm not like an expert in the German language. So, you know. Anyway, hopefully this time we can do a little bit better here. Once again, Rolf, go in here and throw on some Nafoy. And Amy, you go ahead and you just attack for a turn, because we should be safe to get away with that. Oh boy, I'm banking on more AoE. Fuck, would you do the damn thing for me? Nafoy is a fire spell. Again, the Na is a prefix trying to indicate that it's a higher level, which was changed to Ra in later games. So it's kind of like the Aga sort of tier. Okay, that's better. And thankfully only Rudo took damage. Foyer. It's just Foy, or maybe Foi, spelled F-O-I-E, starting in Phantasy Star Online. I don't believe in Phantasy Star 4 that it has that particular spelling naming convention. But yeah, it is kind of very close to fire anyway, so. However, the idea of it being they're all just Long Islanders is significantly funny. You asswipe. I don't like this fight very much. This sucks. This is too hard. I don't want to have to go level grind. Hey, Fire Drake, come on. I'd say. But, yeah, this is a pretty massive jump up. Classic arcade machine difficulty, right? Imagine you go down to the Quarter Emporium and you go throw in 50 cents so you can play some Phantasy Star 2. That'd be fucked. Anyway, hooray! These two gained a shit ton of experience, and we got a bunch of money, but nobody gained a level. Rudo calls Nay's name once again, but his plaintive cry merely echoes and re-echoes. The weather control system is shaking terrifically. Terrifically? Is that the term you want to use? I could see terribly even, but terrifically? Now Nayfirst is dead, there is no one controlling it. All the pent-up energy is pouring into the system. Oh boy, you guys ready for some extremely unnatural natural disasters? Yeah, I mean, descriptiveness is not really very helpful with a lot of these names. This is like, you really need to read the manual kind of thing, but yeah. Anyway, we head on off to the clone zone. Which one would you like to have returned to you? The one called Nay. I'm sorry, but we really aren't able to return people who aren't human. It just doesn't work. Just above Passio is a plateau. Why not put her to rest up there? Don't be sad. Everyone must die sometime. Your friend led a full life. Oh boy, if only you knew how short it was. The answer to that is actually no. What about that tired young one over there? Maybe possible to bring him back to life? Yeah, I mean, Rolf was dead from the fight, so we fixed that. Around the same time as Shining Force. I forget. I will read this dude's dialogue in a second. I'm gonna go look up when Shining Force came out. Shining Force. The first Shining Force game came out in 1992. Following 1991's Shining in the Darkness. Shining in the Darkness, I believe, also a project that quite heavily involved Ryoko Kodama, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, a little bit after. Huh? No, okay, it wasn't. I'm a fucking idiot then. Never mind whatever I said earlier. Although she did do art stuff for Sonic 1 and 2, so that's kind of cool. Shadow Dancer, Sorcerian. Oh, Sorcerian. That's a game that I know absolutely nothing about, but it seemed kind of cool at one point at least. Phantasy Star 4, director. She directed that Magic Knight Ray Earth game on Sega Saturn. That infamous thing. Anyway, at this point, I'm literally just looking up gaming trivia, so maybe I should get back to this guy's fucking thing. Play what sometime? Sorcerian? I don't see why not. Oh, Ray Earth? Okay, in that case, maybe I do see why not, because Saturn emulation. I don't know how good that emulates, but if not, if I can't do it through emulation, oh god, no, the fucking Saturn has garbage-ass anti-piracy shit in it, doesn't it? Oh, I'd have to figure out a way to circumvent that. That would hopefully not, like, break my budget. And then I would need a Saturn too. Oh god. I'll try to someday. I can say that for sure. But anyway, we've got this dork in a green uniform, not universe. Pardon me. Oh my gosh, the lake is overflowing. There must have been an accident at Climatrol. Oh boy, buddy, you don't know the half of the fucking incident at Climatrol. All of the rain supply has flowed into the lake. Motavia is going to flood. Run for your lives. It's a catastrophe. A catastrophe. Rolf, once again, there's a serious problem. You keep fucking everything up. Just when we were feeling relieved that those monsters had been taken care of, this happened. We could avoid the worst case if the dams could be opened, but there's no control. Someone must go there and open them. What, with like a crowbar? A Krobnar? Excuse me. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Gordy is still, like, in hypersleep with the G-Man or some shit, so... Please, let me do it. Well, but I am sorry to say this, but the government of Palm has announced your names as the ones who made Mother Brain go crazy. Oh, horse pucky, dude. Right now, the security system is desperately trying to catch you guys. It is too dangerous to do anything that stands out. But even if we stay inside and hold our breath, they will find us sooner or later. I'd rather go and open those dams. So I want to find out who is trying to destroy Motavia. I see. I won't say any more. Take care of yourselves. I fucked up whose voice was... Oh, God, if they had just, like, indicated in the text who was talking. Whatever. Anywho, let's get ourselves some party going here. Rudo and Amy are, of course, coming with us, and so we go in here and reorg. I hit the B button instead of the... Whoopsie. Alright. Yeah. Remember, use the C button to select things. Okay, Rudo, Amy. Hugh has become significantly less useful to us because... The, most of the, like, biomonsters are dead, if not completely dead, due to the fact that we shut down the energy at Climatrol and we blew up the biolab. Anna, I think, has, like, area of effect weapons that she can use, the slashers, later known as slicers, that can hit multiple enemies. Sheer is just kind of not good. She's useful for stealing stuff from shops, which is very awkward and a little bit bumpy in operation, but otherwise, not really a great fighter. And Kane. Kane has techniques that he can learn that are specifically strong against robots, which is what we're going to be facing in the future. So, I think Kane is coming with us, and that makes 4. Let's get ourselves on out of here. But before we do that, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go heal. And, well, actually, I guess am I healed? Hold up. I should check. Before I save. Because if I heal after I save, yeah, no, I need to go heal. If I heal after I save, that's going to be quite annoying. Yeah, 24 to heal everybody because Kane doesn't need any healing. But everyone else does. So let's go ahead and come in here and save. Oh. Whoops, I saved the wrong file. Let me go back in there and fix that. We can go back to renaming this one stream instead of fuck, because we're past the point of me saying fuck at least for the next 5 minutes. Until inevitably it just ends up that these robots are like disgustingly powerful and I'm just going to be like fuck again. Also, I went to the title screen because dumb. But regardless of that, folks, I will be right back. Okay, hi everybody. I am back. Let's get back to this game. Unfortunately, I've got to end the other thing. Oh, well, what can you do, right? The main thing we've got to do now is that we've got to go and raise this guy. That's going to be not super great, but hey. We also should at least go and find his gear requirements, which are spread out across a couple of towns here. I don't know if we're going to have enough money for all of it, but we got almost 40k, so maybe we can. Speaking of 40k, there is going to be a Vampire Survivors, I'd say spin-off, but it appears to just be basically a reskin that just uses Warhammer stuff for its like characters and everything. I am completely neutral on this because I do not know shit about Warhammer, really. I'm sure it'll be fun, and people who enjoy that sort of thing. What if Nate died before in battle? You would be able to clone her again, but part of this is mangled in translation because the implication is supposed to be that because you fucked up the machinery that enables the creation of, they're called biomonsters in the canon, which is kind of rude. Basically, through your operations, you made it impossible for her to be recloned. You would have been able to before, but you kind of done fucked up. Unfortunately, there was no other way to deal with it, so yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit it's a little bit crusty in some ways, but again, my general sort of response to it has just always been like, God bless them, they were trying. And yeah, she is our only non-human party member. But yeah, there were some translation issues. Yeah, I'm sure that we can all just kind of discern pretty easily on our own. Wow, you don't say. This game was not well translated. Well, I never. Anyway, enough of me being a shithead. But yeah, just a little bit crusty. It's a good idea that is comparatively sensible for, again, something with such a spare script and, you know, again, 1989. How much are they necessarily going to have thought about a lot of that, right? Anyway, we should be all up to date with Kane's gear, I think. I believe that to be the case. The Titanium, yeah, thank you. That's a way to localize titanium helmet, I guess. You could just call it like Titan Helm or something, I don't know. But I admit I'm not necessarily a localization expert. I do know that you shouldn't just use raw MTL, but that's a whole other to-do. Imagine paying an editor, right? It's kind of like just sort of that sort of thing with some companies just basically using just pure machine translation. That's sort of like the prototype to them using AI artwork, really, isn't it? Is that a fair sentiment? Oh, hey, yeah, because of the fact that the lake is overflowing now, Zema is actually surrounded by water. So that's neat. And the location that we're going to is the... Oh no, we have to actually go and find the control tower. Apparently it's in the town of Piata, but it's my fastest route to that. Well, whatever. It probably wouldn't hurt for us to actually fight some robots. We got some whistles here, apparently. Okay, strategy. Amy, you can attack. And Kane, you are not going to do much for now, and you stand the most severe chance of dying. So our new guy in the party, Kane, is our specialist in learning techniques to fight robots. So that's why we've picked him as opposed to Hugh, who was another purple hair. There's a lot of guys in this game with purple hair. Not 100% sure on their status of whether or not they have pronouns, but this is the future. Who knows? Because we've got Kane, we've got Hugh. We had Nay until she died. And then... Well, actually, he's got more of, like, Rolf's kind of off blue, right? At least in that sprite. In his mugshot when he was talking and we got him in the party, he was a little more purple looking. But, oh baby, he is gaining levels hand over fist. Which is great, because he's going to need all of those, and in fact, so is the rest of our party. And our enemy here, the Polezi, Polizei, rather, I think, would be the term that it's probably going for. But they are just Robocops. They are just sort of Rent-A-Robocop. They show up and they think they're cool and they just kind of go, your move, creep. Wait. Unfortunately, Polezi, and it's a 6-letter word, is half of a threatening character's name from something else. I'm here to hurt you all by distributing this knowledge, but I digress. Anyway. Kane's a team twink. I mean, compared to some of our options, I mean, I think Hugh probably would be otherwise, but we don't have him in the party anymore, so for reasons of he's not that useful at this juncture, sadly. Yeah, I mean, by comparison, which is, I think, also kind of funny because Kane is wearing heavy armor, technically. Not in his sprite, but in his equip set. He's got the ceramic armor, which is like the heavy suit. You know, that's your, like, plate mail kind of thing, right? Yeah, whereas Rolf has was referred to as a ceramic chest, so he's wearing, like, technically less heavy armor, so... I think that's just kind of interesting. Anyway. Obliterate him. Yeah, if he eats an attack, he'll get fucking obliterated, I'll tell you that for free. Wait. Oh, you mean... Oh. But yeah, whereas Rudo is definitely like the big guy of the party, right? He's got the most shoulders. He's built like a linebacker. He's built like a linebacker. Wait, no, that's something else. Sorry. Also, here's the thing that I didn't realize. That if it weren't for Nay getting killed, we would actually have an even split between the two binary sexes for our party members, wouldn't we? In terms of availability, I mean. Because we have Amy, Anna, Sheer, and the now dead Nay for the girls. And for the boys, we've got Rolf, Rudo, Kane, and... I almost said Sheer again. No, I mean Hugh. I don't know why I keep blanking on the name Hugh, but I do for some reason. Anyway, fuck it, heal me for even the more expensive heal. Nothing else needs to happen, buddy. Not to be confused with the guy from Pokemon Black and White 2. Right, yeah, because that rival was named Hugh for some reason. And I think when I played it for the first time, I named him Jazz or something. Just to poke at it a little bit. Oh, yes, just to reiterate for those of you who are unsure. When Nay dies, she takes all of her inventory with her. Unfortunately, we cannot... like, get her gear back and sell it. We bury her with her equipment, which, fair enough. But that does also mean do not leave the Visiphone with her, because if you do, you lose it. And then you have to go through the stealing process again. I mean, listen, I could have, but... also, I didn't feel like it. It's alright. At this point, if we need money, at least we have an excuse to go and, like, farm levels, too, because we've got another newcomer in the party. Vibraphone. That's an instrument you... No, it wasn't Grant Kirkhope that died. That would be really weird. Anyway, I'm trying to make a little bit of sense of what this guide is telling me, but I keep stepping just out of bounds every time to get to this location I need to get to. Ooh, what's this? What's all this destroyed crap here? Yeah, one of these can just be opened because of reasons. Do I have... Okay, good. There's a control bar map. Yeah, I'm not sure how you're supposed to find this either, but the original version of the game does come with a guide of some description, so I assume that there's at least something in there. Yeah, I know. The save tool is called the Visiphone, not a vibraphone. Although, Wireface and Mazgamma, we've got some fun enemy names coming in here. Ouchies! That's not so fun. Oh, good that she gained a level at least, so. Amy, you probably should heal yourself. We'll use a Gi-Res, because we should be able to take good advantage of that. Not as much as I thought. Oh, I clicked out of the window by accident. Oops. I guess we're gonna walk to the edge here. Let's see what else anybody can do here. You can continue to fight. Kane, you've got to have some abilities by now. You've got Foy. Oh boy, these tech names are a nightmare. We got Forza, Aegea, Rimet, Gadge, Conte, Zan. I already know what Zan is. Zan is a wind spell. Gigadge. Oh, it's probably Gigadge, right? Let's take a look at what this does. Is this an AoE thing for targeting robots? You will not be surprised to know that a lot of Kane's techniques did not recur in later games. Yeah, he's got some lightning damage that he deals off of that. How much does it cost? Only 5? Oh, that's fairly decent. But don't waste it, man. Just fight these the regular way. Alright, so this is the one we have to go into, I believe, because it's the 4th socket from this side. Ooh. Oh, whoopsie. Yeah, nothing there. Thanks, game. Decided to make a quick check. Here. Excuse me. Here we go this way. And what's this? Sure. So for some reason, there's a piano hanging out there. No, we're not. See, we're not done with that, are we? Oh. Okay, so that just sort of kicks us out for some reason. That's a choice. That's not confusing or anything. It's alright. This isn't really a hard place to get through. Especially provided we don't get into too many fights. Oh hey, here's a new enemy, a Metalman. So, like, Kane is definitely a ripoff of a Gundam character, too, right? Like, just looking at him. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong wrong RPG franchise. I think. Okay, so Rudo could definitely use a Nares. Yeah. That's a nice chunk of HP he got back. Rolf, you can probably Gi-Res. No, just use regular res. That'll be good. And let's see, what's our defining detail? This one, I believe. This way. Looks like Dragon Ball GT Vegeta. I mean, it kind of makes sense something about Toriyama. Anyway, this giant war mech looking Chucklefuck is called an eyesore, and to be honest with you, that's probably correct. Let's see what this thing's got in the tank. Well, it takes not a lot of damage from Rolf's big sword, so... Ooh. That was some damage. But it can't take too many turns, so that's good. That's surprisingly not a problem, even though it's an enemy that really looks like it wants to be a problem for you. Just going this way. Ah, yes, we've got Informer by Snow. Wait. Defense reduced. Well, that could be slightly worrying in theory if they actually all attacked her. Fuck if I know. I haven't played a Dragon Quest game in a very long time. Anyway, folks, this time, remember, don't touch the piano, just cast the spell on it. Mecho Man, or perhaps it's Mecho Man. Mecho Man. Let's fight this overgrown garbage dump, garbage can, pardon me. It looks kind of like those weird tin can droids that we saw in Gex 2 that were supposed to be a parody of R2-D2. At least a little bit. Anyway. No, don't touch the keyboard, you fool. Remember how to do it. We have to go over here and tell Rolf to cast music. Now that's a catchy tune! Oh wait, no, that's the Poké Flute, pardon me. Yep, and we used some music and we opened the thing. That's kind of impressive, but I guess like more modern numbers are going to be, on average for games, higher than for older games because, well, there's more people who play video games, just even by sort of density, right? That was gross noise. Anyway, we should now be able to go in here and pick these up. Rolf found a green card. Rudo is picking up the blue card, the yellow card, and the red card. There we go. All 4 key cards. That'll let us deal with the dams. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say entirely, to be fair. That would probably be a bad thing to say, but just in general. It's just that the matter of, like, the way the maths out is a little bit weirder. Because that's time for you. But anyway, we got ourselves some key cards. Let's go and heal first, and then we'll deal with doing stuff with those afterwards.
I forget if you have to take those on in order or not, but... Alright, let's go ahead and save the game. Rolf needing Rolf needing a whole 5 digits of EXP now. Dang. Yeah, I don't recall 7 being very popular. Are we allowed to just go in here? Here, Rudo, use the blue card on it. Oh. Real helpful. Alright. That's... Well, that would be a choice if that were the case, but I don't know if it is. That's... Huh. I don't really follow Dragon Quest very closely, just as a series. I never really could get into it that much. But if that is a thing that they did, that's... What the hell is wrong with you guys? Oh, that's a pretty good animation. I like that, where the guy just stretches all the way. Alright, gonna need to heal Kane in a second. God, the accuracy is starting to get a little bit crappy. I'd heard people talking about that before, and I was sort of reaching a point where I was like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that bad. And now it's just like, oh, no, it's catching up to you now.
Oh, these are some, like, awful design decisions that I'm hearing about. The fuck are they doing with these games? Eesh. Alright. So, item... Rudo, you've got the red card, yeah. Trying to read through this, that's all. That could be helpful. Excuse me, go. Back up. That is baffling. Why would they do that? That's very strange. Found the fire slasher. That would be nice if we switched to Anna at some point, but I'm liking what we're dealing with now, at least. But of course, we're playing this using the slightly easier version of the game, so that might help with part of that. Oh boy, Rudo is gonna need a Nares real soon. We might be able to get away with this. I probably shouldn't have, but thankfully the enemies all distributed their damage decently, so just go for it. Come on, we're almost done here. I mean, he's getting electrocuted enough that it makes sense. Wait. Yeah, okay, so Nares, you and Rolf, you spend some tech points on Kane to keep him a little bit more alive. Yeah, that all sounds really befuddling about the Dragon Quest VII remake. Those are definitely some odd choices, to put it mildly. Oh, really? I was that close to the pit somehow? You sure about that game? Ah, fuck, where are we? I think I'm just going to reset my position in the area. Honestly, I think I kind of want to just go back and heal, too. Oh, where are we? Oh, right, because it's last save point, not last heal point. That's okay. Honestly, if I have to spend a little bit more money to do this, that's fine. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Ah, yes, now we're fighting robots just kind of out on the water. These things look like some sort of ground crawler. That doesn't really make sense. Why are they not, like, new robots? The northwest, and then... Oh, so we were literally just at the start, huh? That was kind of silly of me then, but the healing isn't necessarily a bad thing now, is it? This way. And then over this way. Take us back there. As we fight the Pelesiacs, which is just the upgraded Pelesi, but with... and probably just more HP. Seemingly no new attacks. Very blue color scheme. Now they really look like the cops, I don't know. Go this way. Man, these guys are kind of durable. I probably should be using more of my techniques and stuff, but I would also just kind of prefer to go through these fights a little bit faster. Oh well. Kane, go into your techniques. We got Sag. I don't know what that is, and Gra. But I know what Gigaj does. That is our area of effect attack on robot groups. Or it's single target, pardon me. I could have sworn he had one that was like area target. Rolf, do you have Gizon yet? You do. Oh, good. Well, that should hopefully clear things up a little bit. Although I think we only hit one of them, so that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, just switch back to switch back to swinging. Kane, you can keep using your anti-robot magic. Because you don't use your tech points for, like, anything else. And with everybody here getting the crap kicked out of them, Amy, God, I wish you would get Nassar at some point, which is the, I think it's level 30 or something that she gets it anyway, so it takes a while, but it heals everybody's HP fully, so that would be a good thing to have. All right, get chest, found a fire staff. Nice. Oh, I should have healed Kane. Oops. I'm sure it'll be fine. At least until the start of next battle. Yeah. See? We're okay. Okay-ish, anyway. Amy, go ahead and use Gi-Res on him. Oh, careful of the hole. That's Sonomech. This is a... Yeah, it's an upgraded version of a robot that we've seen already. Taking a risk here, because, yeah, Amy's at low HP, but we managed to get away with it. It's fine. That requires some pretty big air quotes around it, but... Listen. I admit that this makes me kind of nervous just as a game, just by virtue of the sheer amount of how conservative I have to be with my mana and my healing, because, oh boy, they don't give you a great amount of them. I probably should actually be using, like, healing spells, or healing items, rather. Healing spells, I mean, probably that too, but... Okay, well, time to start finding out what some of these spells do for us, huh? Ooh, Aegea is an AoE spell for hitting robots. That's good. That's a nice thing to have. Amy, use Gi-Res on yourself. Alright, now, let's keep going. Unfortunately, paralysis in this game kind of works like Gen 1 sleeping in Pokemon, so... Yeah. You get notified of that, and then you still burn the turn anyway. Okay, Rolf, you've got some healing items. Fuck, who needs what? Oh, you need a lot. And so does Kane, but I think everybody else can stick for a bit if we just use the Dimates. Alright, that'll do. Hold on, trying to... Okay. That's why my brain was used there. Southeast corner. Ooh. Found the Sword of Ang. I don't know what that is supposed to translate to. Sword of Ang. Sword of Angus, I don't know. 90, 190, 162. How does our stats look after that? Ooh, yeah, good attack and defense buff there. I'll gladly take that. Oh, I have some gear that I need to dump as well. so I should certainly do that at some point. Maybe after I'm done in this place. Fuck, can we just run? No, no we can't. And it's time for a whole party to get paralyzed. Yep. I love this. Hey, we managed to escape. Thank fuck. And our paralysis is cured because the battle ended. Alright. The eyesores. How are we gonna... we'll deal with these basically the same way as usual. Do that. To spread the damage, because I know that not everybody in this party is going to just go straight for the same target all the time, so a little bit more scattered damage will probably help us out a little bit with that. Good work, Kane. You probably did something useful, I think. Alright. Not Rudo. Amy. Use a Nares on Rolf. And burn like almost all the last of your tech points. Alright, and this should finally be getting us to the place, basically. No, you're not the thing I have to talk to. That is... place to put the card in. Item... Rudo, you've got the red card still, so stick it in there. And we have done it. Well, I'm not sticking around this place, because these enemies hit pretty hard. So, let's warp back, and... I'll be fine to take a couple of fights along the way back to Zema, which is where we're going to heal and save, and that will round out today's stream. But damn, this is really starting to step up a pretty good amount here. We also should probably dump off some of our garbage items too. Wow, you really do just kind of go sometimes. Oh, right, the item shop is where we sell stuff. Right. Look at me being forgetful. Alright, Rolf, you do not require that laser sword anymore. That jeweled ribbon is not necessary. Nor that fiber vest or the silver ribbon. Anybody else have stuff to sell? Rudo, you got... No, Rudo just has all that stuff. Amy and Kane also are just carrying just their gear. Alright, well... First we heal, then we save. Alright, under 2. Yep. Alright, and with that, that will do for today.